Hello and welcome. You are watching Newscliff and I am Pallab Ghosh with you. Well, today's video makes me a bit nostalgic because this is about the person who, though I was not directly related with, but those of us who were bitten by the bug of fashion designing in the late 80s and early 90s regarded him as one of the inspirations. Yes, I am talking about late Rohit Bal, fondly Gudda. It was in late 80s and early 90s when fashion designing was gradually spreading its wings in India. NIFT produced many fashion designers who are still ruling the industry. And one of them was, of course, Gudda. Though fashion designing in India will be always indebted and grateful to late Rohit Khosla, the person who is also known as the father of fashion designing, the concept in India. Khosla, whom we lost very early, was even compared with Bill Blass, Pecada, and Christy Dior. He had the concept of fashion designing, which perhaps nobody could ever thought of. But the next generation was the NIFT graduates. And one of them was, of course, Rohit Bal, or as we call him, Gudda. Rohit Bal's initial days in fashion began with his brother, Rajiv Bal's Orchid Overseas. Gradually, of course, he launched his own line, and later, as we all know, he became a signature fashion designer. In fact, he was one of the first to introduce the signature brand, Rohit Bal, and his clothes were sold across the racks in the boutiques of then House Khas village, which was also known as the Boutique Basti. His clothes were also sold at South Extension stores, MG Road, Defense Colony, so on and so forth. The journey, which began from House Khas village till Noida, where he had his workshop, is a long story, is a long saga. In between, of course, when House Khas village was almost finished, all the designers had shifted their attention towards Shahpur Jat, which also became a fashion hub. Long stories, many memories. Rohit Bal was also one of those fashion designers who had done immense work in ethnic as well as Western. In fact, his designs, his cuts, his style lines were subtle and simple, and that is perhaps one of the reasons he became one of the very popular fashion designers who gave fashion, who made fashion designing a easy subject after Rohit Khosla. Rohit Khosla always wanted fashion designing to be popular. But unfortunately, as I said, India lost Rohit Khosla very early. Rohit Bal's fashion shows would be total extravaganza. Many had criticized, many complimented. But Rohit Bal was one of those who believed in keep working, and he did. His designs were, in the later part, were a combination of fusion. He used to draw inspirations from various things, and his motives were really unique. His textile, which he used to select, were unique, especially when he was making the Indian ethnics. In fact, I remember his collections of lehenga, his dupattas, his lacha. In those days, lacha was the most happening couture in the Indian ethnic bracket. And his intricate work, his intricate designing, Rohit Bal also was an inspiration for those who were gradually learning about the fashion modeling, a totally new concept in India then. Ramp was important because fashion show was the most happening part. Every second day or third day, we used to have fashion shows. But nobody actually had the idea what a ramp walk should be, or what a fashion walk, which was different for women as well as men. For women it was catwalk, but men had a different walking style on the ramp. And the ramp walk or the catwalk was actually the most important element, how you depict, how you showcase, how you exhibit your clothes. Because a cut, a style line, a drape would exhibit, would come up in front of the onlookers depending on your ramp walking. Those were also the days, of course, when fashion was, sorry for using the word virid, because hell lot of designs were not actually wearable, but they were prepared, they were created, they were designed to satisfy the attraction on the fashion show or the ramps. As I said, late 80s, early 90s was the boom time in India in the fashion industry. And fashion means haute couture or high fashions. Fashion shows were simply extravagant. And Rohit Bal's fashion show used to be the most happening. Extravaganza at its peak. And needless to mention, Gudda was also full of energy, full of vigor. So as I was saying, that another reason that made Rohit Bal popular was his inspiring the youngsters towards fashion modeling. With his Kashmiri looks, with his westernized looks and thick locks, he had long thick locks when he came into fashions. And his, of course, his wardrobe, his style of designing, his style of wearing clothes inspired many to take to fashion modeling. Later, of course, we had a lot of youngsters coming to fashion modeling, and that became a profession. Because when you have to have fashion shows, you need to have fashion models, you need to have ramp walking, you need to have fashion models to wear your clothes. But fashion designing, as I said, was of course a happening thing during this period. And this was also the period when he had a lot of fashion designers, predominantly NIF graduates, along with Rohit Bal. I'm not taking the names of those designers, but many of them gradually perished. There was also a period of slump in Gudda's career. But Gudda again rose back to his spirits, his vigor, with his creations. He turned his attention towards wardrobe of celebrities, and not to forget, he also designed the couture of Amitabh Bachchan in Kaun Banega Crorepati. This was Rohit Bal, Gudda, who had a colorful life. His parties would be one of the most happening, with guests from fashion industries, his fraternity of course, politicians, bureaucrats, film stars, people from entertainment industry, so on and so forth, including foreign delegates. Like all individual, Rohit Bal too was a human being, and he too had his share of controversies. Being a celebrity fashion designer, of course, some of the controversies were blown overboard. But controversies were there. And one of the biggest controversies that actually rocked his career was his live-in relationship with fashion model Lalit Tehlan. It's said that Lalit was 17 when he first came into contact with Gudda. It was like love at first sight for both of them, and both of them continued for quite some time in relationship. Later, of course, the relationship turned sour and they parted. But this controversy was again spruced up when Rohit Gandhi of the Rahul Khanna and Rohit Gandhi fashion level duo said that it was Tehlan who was actually slow poisoning Rohit Bal, allegedly. He said Rohit Bal had immense trust and faith and dependent on Lalit because they were truly in love, at least from Bal's point of view. Well, these are controversies, but it's true that they both were in strong relationship for many years. Tehlan was also one of those who, according to Rohit Gandhi's allegation, had not only dumped Gudda but has exploited Gudda's career reputation, among other things, to make him popular, to make him become a brand. Well, these are allegations. We really don't know the facts. Neither do Newscliff claim any responsibility to these controversies. Another controversy that had hit the media headlines was Rohit Bal, who is a resident of Defence Colony, was accused of indulging in a fight with the residents over a car parking issue. Delhi police, who had booked Rohit Bal under section 427 for mischief causing damage to the amount of rupees 50, house trespass, along with 506 section, which is for punishment for criminal intimidation under IPC. This incident actually became a very big headlines because, as I said, fashion designing is a cutthroat competition. And like all professions, like all industry, you have your rivals who are always there to backstabbing. A designer who had vision and immense energy, not just on stage but backstage also. Anybody who had seen Rohit Bal in green rooms or between the shows have seen the amount of energy Rohit Bal had. We always say that these people are party animals. These people love to socialize. But the fact is, after days of hectic preparation, because we only watch fashion show on a particular day, but the preparation goes behind a show for months. And when a fashion show takes place, remember, a fashion designer is also the person who takes charge of lot many things. Like in case of Bal, who used to supervise the lights, the stage, the music, the choreography part, and of course, coordinating the models, which is one of the biggest headache. Because setting a fashion show or setting the sequences of the ramp show is a tedious job. And then after the show, going and enjoying at a pub with a full energy, it requires hell lot of mental strength, which Rohit Bal had. And controversies are part of anybody's life. And like all human beings, as I said, Rohit Bal too had his share of controversies. But still, world will always remember Rohit Bal. And like all human beings, Rohit Bal too had his share of controversies. Gudda will be always remembered for his contribution to the fashion industry and to the causes in the social sector like LGBT community. He was one of the strong advocates of LGBT community. Well, that's it from my side. This is Pallab Ghosh signing off for Newscliff Insight.